colleague from Seidor UK, Mr. Zemek, will be leading today's sessions. So, hi, Zemek.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi there. So, Zemek will showcase the benefits of the integrated cloud solution and specifically how it will accelerate your procurement cycle and enhance the self-service capabilities. So please, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to interrupt, and we can make it actually a very interactive webinar. So don't hesitate to raise your hand and interrupt in case there are any points that can be relevant for you, for your business. We will be happy to address the questions. Great. So go ahead, present.
Let me take it over.
Sure.
I will quickly start with very short PowerPoint presentation, which got only 5 slides. So 4 slides, I'm sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Przemek Wasilko. As I was introduced, I'm coming from Seidor UK, enjoying with actually Seidor Poland. And I will give you today introduction to Procure-to-Pay, which is the e-procurement solution by Seidor. The solution itself, in general, covers and enhances the Business One capabilities on day-to-day works. It got very advanced and rule-based approval system, which is very sophisticated. It got very good document handling. It is seamless integration, which means all data is exchanged in real time. There is no caching, synchronizing, whatever is happening. If we create a purchase order, PO is created and posted in Business One. It goes the Invoice OCR capabilities, which is the Invoice optical character recognition, so we can scan documents. It support multi-databases, multi-currencies, etc. And it got customizable dashboards. And then on the next slide, I will show you the minimum requirement for the software to run. So it's very low spec server or Enva hosting environment. The system works with SAP Business One version 10 based on SQL or on HANA, because both versions support service layers which are used for the data exchange. And that's pretty much all from the PowerPoint presentation. That's the last slide. So it was only 4 slides, as I promised. And I will jump straight into the presentation of the product. I will be showing it from our demo environment. So as I said, the application is a web-based application. You access it via dedicated URL. When you hit that URL, you will be presented with the login screen. And on that login screen, just to give you an idea, you will put your system ID. And system ID typically in real life environment is live and test, but you can have multiple. It's a logical grouping on different Business One companies, for example, test companies, production companies. In our environment, I set it up as a demo. Then you will be logging in with your user. And this user is a procurement user, which is set up within the application. It doesn't need to be SAP user, because for a product to work, we don't need SAP users to be replicated within the module. So I will log in as administrator. And you've got, and the other tab choice you've got is the standard SAP Business One, SAP SAP product feel and look. All those schemes are the standard one that comes with Business One with all portfolio of SAP application. The application, the module itself is developed using SAP product called SAP UI5 framework, and is only based on SAP solution as well. If you see Business One web client, it is developed and built up on the same SAP UI5 framework. So let's log into the product. Oh, if I spell it correctly. Password. When I will log in, because I'm logged in as administrator, I'm logging in with full permissions. On the left-hand side, I can see all the modules available to me from the purchasing side to the master data, some timesheets module, and full administration configuration. The way you create users and group users within the module, you create individual users, but then you will put users into logical groups. And if I show you the groups, and the groups will be something that vary per implementation. So every customer can group differently. So we can put users into the approver groups, requesters, suppliers into the supplier. Maybe we will have someone from the engineering group. We can put them in the technical group, which means users and the module configuration is based on the groups. The way the module navigates on the left-hand side, as I said, you've got the menu. On the toolbar of the application, you've got the area in which you are currently are logged in. In the middle, you've got the company that's the Business One company to which you are connected. If there are multiple databases, you will be able to switch between Business One companies within your environment. So if you've got multiple companies, you can easily go and change the connection. And now you're logging into Business One company in the background, Belgium. But now I will switch it back. I'm now back into the UK. So I don't need to put my user password for Business One many times. That's already defined and set up within the configuration. In the middle section, we've got something that we call dashboard. Every user can have different dashboard, can have different information on the dashboard. You can easily go and switch the dashboard designer, and you can put different items on the dashboard, charts, reports, shortcuts, something from the approval flow, etc., etc. So dashboard is something that each user will adopt. And just very quickly, last comment, because I will not be showing the configuration today. The way the screens work, they work exactly the same way like they work in Business One. You've got the header information, you've got the content information, and you've got the footer information at the bottom. Every field you see on the screen, every tab, everything that you see on the screen, you can hide, amend, change through the screen configuration, and it can be assigned to groups. So different groups got different views of the screen, etc. But all of that is through the configuration under the system configuration. So I will just quickly show you. If I go, for example, purchase order, I can say, oh, I want to display, for example, a field on the purchase order. I will hide agent code. I don't need agent code. So before I hide it, if I switch it back, the agent code is presented in here. So if I save it, I will take it out by just removing it. We'll say, take it out. If I next time I will open purchase order, that agent code is not there anymore. And again, to make field mandatory is just a matter of switch. So that means that field need to be populated before the transaction will go through. So just that was very briefly, there is full support for user-defined fields, full support for formatted searches, for some advanced logic and different flows. So the way the approvals works, again, you've got very sophisticated approval templates. You can trigger the approvals based on different transaction, based on different user, group of users, based on different condition, and the condition can be based on the header information, line level information. Maybe if something is very complex and we need to read the data from other areas of the system, it could be based on the query as well. And one approval line can go, if we got line level approvals defined, one line from the transaction can be approved by one person, another line by another person. And the module will manage the approval workflow here. And every approval is associated with the email notification in the background, which I will show you in a second. Okay, so that was the admin login. So what I will do, I will now simulate the flow of the transaction from purchase request through purchase quotation for the supplier to accept the quotation, and supplier will log in, will confirm the quotation, the buyer will confirm the quotation into the purchase order, and then supplier will confirm that the purchase order goods were sent, and maybe we'll attach invoice to the purchase order. So I will show you how this will flow. So Jim is a requester, is the person that needs stuff, and he want to request items to be purchased. So I will log in now as a Jim. So Jim got different dashboard, got different menu because he's got different permission to use it within the system. And I will go and create purchase request. I'm requesting the request to be required by the 23rd, due date 23rd. The item I am requesting, again, what we see here, the items are directly from Business One. They are read automatically in real time, so there is no exchange of the data. What we see as well here, that if there is a preferred supplier associated, will automatically come to the line. I can put the required quantity. The system will also show me the last purchase price for this product. And the price associated here is the price associated with that vendor combination based on the quantity and the date. What I can do as well, if you are using the department, the cost dimension, just to give you an idea, you can all enable those dimensions, and you can populate those dimensions as you interact with the product. If I click now preview approval, we should receive an error that not all the mandatory fields are populated, and the system will tell me that. So a validation error had occurred, and the system is telling me that the project code is mandatory and I need to complete it first. And the system will actually highlight all the fields that are mandatory, which are actually suffixed with the star in red, and I need to choose that mandatory field before I will go to next step. So I can preview approval. If there are any approvals associated, then the system will tell the user that actually it will go through the approval process. It will go to the approvers. The first person in the approver group is Alex, and that's the template that is applied for the approval flow. So normally in SAP, when you click add, that purchase request will be posted, but through the e-procurement system, it will go to the approval. The approval request is 11, and Alex Peturo is our approver. As I said, the system in the background will actually send a notification to all the users within the group. In that group, I got 2 users. One user is Alex, and he received an email that there is a document awaiting your approval. He's got the link to the approval document, but also he can approve it using the approve and decline button. By clicking on that, an email will be generated, and I can put a comment, please approve it. So I can do it on the email level, or I can click on the link, which I will do now. I will now log in as Alex, because Alex is the approver. And because I use the link, the system will get me directly to that document that I'm going to approve. I can see this transaction created. I can see that my requester want to buy this product. That's the price. I can either approve it or reject it. And on the approval tabs, also I see what is the queue for the approval. So with this purchase request, there is nothing fancy happening. There is only one approval line pending in terms of the flow. It is the group. It requires 1 signature from the group. So if I require 2 signatures or 3 signatures, that's in the configuration. So before the transaction is approved, 3 users needs to approve it or more, and I can approve it. So I can approve it. Fine. I will. Okay. That was my comment. And because I accepted it, is the difference to Business One is that it doesn't go back to the requester to post it, to finalize it. At this stage, it's already added within the system as a request, as a posted request. That is this request. If I open it up, that was that request created by the user. On the approval tab, I got the status that was approved. I got the time and date when it was signed, who was the signer, and what was the comment. So now this purchase request is approved, and Alex is going to request different vendors to actually compare the price, to quote it, etc. So I can use function copy tool the same way like we do in Business One. We'll go to purchase quote. I will choose this vendor, or I can do other way around. I can actually go to add purchase quotation. I can choose vendor, and I can copy from. And the system will show me all the open purchase requests. I can choose the one I want, and then I can choose which lines from that request I want. So it's the same way, but in reverse order. Copy from, I can choose multiple into one quote, but copy to, at the same like in Business One, is one-to-one relationship. I'm going to close it. As you probably notice, as I interact with the system, it is opening all the screens in the tab form, so I can always go back to the previous tab to see what is happening. So in here, I can request quantity, so the quantity I'm requesting. I can add another dimension because that's line of business. That's another cost dimension that I want to use. I can put it into the group if I wish to. I can put supplier reference number, etc. So I will add now this purchase request. Again, another mandatory field I missed. Okay, that document, and this time there was no approval. There is no approval set up on the purchase quotation. The quotation is now posted, and the system is telling me now that that transaction is created. What will happen in the background? Supplier will receive a notification that there is a new pending document waiting waiting for you to accept. And the supplier can click the link or can actually go to P2P. They already familiarized with it. So let me go and open and log in now as a vendor account. And now, because I am now logged in as a supplier, I can only see transactions associated with the supplier. I don't see anything else from the Business One. So if I go to view purchase quotation, I only see purchase quotation where I am the supplier. Nothing else will be visible to me. So that's the quotation number 10. I can click on it. I can see the details about that quotation. And I can say, okay, I'm going to confirm this row. What the system will do will replicate that row below. The only field that we enable the supplier to change are those fields. So I can change the date. Let's say I will change that. They can confirm quantity. I can confirm maybe price. Actually, you can have a better deal. I will make it cheaper for you. Better price and delivery by day -1. I can put even the comments on the line level and I will submit it. Before, and the way the system is set up for today, before those changes are accepted, the system will evaluate it and is telling the supplier, actually, the buyer from the approval groups, Alex, need to confirm it that they are happy with what you quoted. But it's not mandatory step. That's something that can be taken now. And what supplier knows now, if he will go to view purchase quotation, that there is this purchase quotation that is pending the approval. So if I go back to that quotation, I cannot make any more changes to it because it is pending update. If I go now back to Alex account, that was Alex account. On Alex account, Alex received, of course, the notification that he need to approve something. So he received it. The notification this time is purchase request. This is now purchase order, the purchase quotation. But he also got it on his dashboard. I can click into it and he can see also those two lines. So he can see original line and highlighted in yellow, he see the supplier comments, he see new price and he see the dates and Alex will accept it. Accept it. And only at this stage, that quotation will be updated within the system. So if I go back to that quotation, we can now see that the quantity is 10, the date is -1 day, and the price is assigned to a single line. Those two lines disappear, and we now accepted it. On the approval tab, I can view the history of that purchase order. So if the supplier will be updating that purchase quotation multiple times, each time it will go back to Alex for the approval, and full history will be recorded on that approval list. Okay, so once Alex is happy with that quotation, can accept it. What we've got as well in terms of the RFQ may be comparison. If you are, combine all those different requests into a single RFQ number, if you click on it, you will receive a report with all the suppliers quoting for the product. So we've got the products, and then we've got different suppliers on the top. If there are more, then obviously the report will be expanding, and I can see quantity confirmed, the price, and at the bottom I've got the summary. I got the subtotal, the VAT amount, and the total. And from that report, as a buyer, I can determine with which supplier I will go to the next stage by creating a purchase order. So I can choose whichever supplier I want. But let's flow with this transaction number 10. I will confirm it into the purchase order. So this purchase order, we'll know that the date is now by -2, the quantity, everything stays. I will do preview approval. The system can be set up to have another approval associated with it. So if I go before the purchase order is placed, we can assign another approval flow. It says that it will go to the admin, but actually I don't want to approve it by admin. So I will go and deactivate that approval flow. Check PO, and I will make it inactive. The demo purposes, if I go preview approval, now the system is telling me no approval needed. I will add it. And the system is telling me, because there were no approval, the system is now telling me the true Business One PO number rather than approval flow number is telling me the document number. So the posted purchase order in the system is 726. And again, I will go back to my vendor. Vendor received notification that purchase order is created. And I will just show you something on the Alex dashboard. So I will close the dashboard. The other flow that we set it up here is that Alex got a report, all the vendors PO marked as delivered. So I know when the PO is, for example, delivered by the supplier. So if I go now to supplier, this time supplier is viewing his purchase order. That's the purchase order we just created. I will open it up. And then this time the vendor, the supplier cannot make any changes apart from changing the header information good delivers. And on the line level, if I confirm this line, the only field that now he can change is the good delivered on the line level. So if I want to do the check on the line level or on the header level, so I will say yes. And if I submit it, this time the system is not triggering any approval process because we decided that that information can be changed by the supplier, is not making any other changes which will impact PO value. And that change is already registered. So if I go back to Alex screen, now on Alex screen, this transaction appeared in the form of the report, vendor POs marker delivered. I miss one step on the vendor. Typically what vendor will do as well, will probably attach at this stage the invoice to that purchase order, which they can do. So you will receive an invoice attached to the purchase order from the vendor, but that's optional. That's something that you can decide to do or not. So if I go back here and I will go back to the purchase order as Alex, I got that invoice attached to my purchase order. If I log into Business One and go to that purchase order, that's the last purchase order in the system, that's also available attached to that purchase order, because as I said at the beginning, the system interacts in the real time with Business One. So whatever is happening on the portal is also happening in here. So for example, if I go and say change log, I will see all the changes that were happening with that transaction. I can say compared, show differences. Goods delivered no, goods delivered no, and any updates to the record. The same is happening with the purchase request. And now either Alex or the warehouse manager will actually confirm and receive it that into the good receipt PO. Will actually confirm on which true date they receive it, or if that was delivered to the customer, if that was a dropship, a delivery, and they can create good receipt PO. And again, we can create approval flow for that, or it will be posted automatically. So the system is telling me now that good receipt 738 was created. If I go back and view that good receipt POs, that was this one. me as a person that is only interacting with the e-procurement, I can go into relationship map and I can see full chain of the transaction. I can see that it started with the purchase request. I can drill down to it through purchase quotation, purchase order, up to good receipt PO. And if there is more like invoice, credit notes, etc., that will be also drawn here as a sample of the relationship map. Okay, I will park my presentation now and I will take on some questions. If there are any questions, of course.
Any questions? Okay, so if any questions will come later on, you guys can always reach out to us, to me or to your account manager. And we will be happy to address them later on. Okay, I can see someone is writing in the chat. Okay, all is clear. I'm glad. And okay, so from your side, Zemek, all is completed, all is good?
That's correct. That was the primary focus, to show the buyer, approver, and vendor experience. But of course, there could be some finance, there could be some document OCR, there could be some other flows available within the module. We call it e-procurement platform, and there is a reason for that, because it got more functionality than just the procurement capabilities.
Great. So if you guys are interested in optimizing your procure-to-pay processes, please get in touch with us, and we will be gladly support you. So thank you very much for today's session. Thank you, Zemek, and thanks everybody for joining. We will be sharing the recording, so you guys can always go through to these notes. Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.